Hey, and welcome in today's video. As you can see, some parts of the truck are quite rusty, so I have some metal primer and some metal paint. That's two-component paint, so that it's extra strong, that I can brush onto the metal parts. And today I just want to try out a few things. So I've got some, like the door of a storage compartment that is very rusty, so I'm going to replace it anyway. But I want to see how the primer and the paint react to the existing paint. So if I need to actually remove everything or if I can just paint over it, but removing all of the loose stuff, of course. So one thing that I will be trying to do is to use some elbow grease and just remove all the loose stuff with some steel brushes, some sandpaper. The other thing I want to try is with the angle grinder. I've got a steel disc on it with like steel wire. See how that works. And when I bought my air compressor, it came with like a cheap thing to sandblast. So I want to try out an area there as well. Of course, I cannot sandblast everything on the truck, but the parts that I can, like the drum brake, the brake drum, I can actually take it off, and then I could sandblast outside or like clean the outside and paint it. This part I cannot take off, so then I will do it in place here. This is not that bad, so this can just be brushed and then painted over. But yeah, that's why I wanted to see how the new paint reacts to the old paint and see if we get any bleed throughs or if it will detach from each other. So yeah, let's get started. All right, as you can see, I'm outside. Most of the snow is gone by now. It's about like 1 degree Celsius right now, but in the sun it's very, very nice. I'll be removing the reflector first, and then I will brush off some of this loose paint with the steel brush. Then going over with some sandpaper so that the new paint will attach properly. And I'll be wearing a respirator just because I don't know what type of paints this is. If it's a lead paint, I don't want that in my lungs. So we'll see how that goes. All right, let's get started. All right, so now we have removed the bolts. Here was the nut. All right, like so. So yeah, I will divide this into 3 parts. So one part will be hand brush, one part will be with the angle grinder, and the last part right here, that will be with the sandblasting. All right, let's get started. All right, so that's one surface prepped. I will get a cloth and remove a bit of with some degreaser and just make sure that it's properly prepped for painting. So that was with sandpaper and the steel brush. It didn't take that much effort at all. So I will try it now with the angle grinder right here. I'll take this patch right here, and then the other patch right here, that will be with the sandblasting. So first it will be the angle grinder. So I'll be wearing the mask again and some goggles, just to protect myself, and then we'll see from there. That's a lot easier than doing it by hand, but you strip away the paint quite fast if you do it like this. But yeah, it's definitely a good option, and it's also less dusty than doing it by hand. So yeah, all right, now we'll try to do the sandblasting option. All right, so if I have to do a comparison, I think I like the manual way better because it's more smooth. The angle grinder left a bit more bumps and stuff like that, and the sandblasting, I might have to dial in everything more, but it's not doing it as I thought it should do it. But yeah, I think by far this is the best, the cleanest way of doing it. It's more labor, but if I want to do it right, I need to do it like this, I think. But what I will do right now is I will just wipe it with some degreaser, prepare it for painting. And then I will paint the entire surface with some ground paint or primer, like a base coat. And it should go over light rusty areas like this. That should be no problem. It will convert it or protect it, or I don't know how to say that, but I think that this way it's nice. It's the best way, I think. So yeah, but maybe the angle grinder for some areas as well that doesn't have a lot of paint left, or I need to just have more patience to do a better job at it. But yeah, so I'll prepare it, paint over it, and see how it will look. All right, so I've got some primer for diggers and stuff like that. That's a bit more robust. It will harden quite hard. And then I've got a 2-component top coat for it, and everything I can just brush on with a brush. So yeah, so you'll start by opening this one up. I'll just start painting it. Alright, so I'll let this dry now, and I will clean up the brush and the stirring stick, close up the lid again, and then yeah, this will have to dry for like a few hours, and then I will put on another coat of the primer. I think next time, if I start to painting, I will do a better job in preparing the surfaces, because on this side it's almost not noticeable that there's old paint underneath, but here on this side there definitely is. So I'm definitely going to use the manual stuff, I think, or the angle grinder, because that looks pretty good as well. But we'll see how it looks after a second coat. So yeah, for now I'll just close up everything and I will do some other stuff while this is drying, and we'll get back to this later. Alright, so the paint has had some time to dry now, the primer. So I will do another layer of it, and then we'll see how it turns out. Alright, we'll let that dry again, and then after this has dried, then we'll put on the top coat and see how it will look. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, please make sure to like, subscribe, and leave a comment. I appreciate any feedback.